Hello Aries, thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Bonefire Tarot by Gabby Angus West. For the supportive Oracle cards, Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. Excuse me, got the hiccups all of a sudden. Alright. Okay. Okay, what are you dealing with here? What's going on? I don't know if we're going to be put on all these cards, but maybe. How did I end up with face-down cards? I did, though. Okay. Okay, I wasn't trying to end up with face-down cards, but we got two of them. So those are like hidden aspects that aren't going to make sense until they actually happen. Secret type feels. But usually in this reading, I think, especially because they're showing up in the actual action line and on your side coming up, it's not going to actually hit until you are faced with the circumstances coming forward towards you. Okay. So, Aries, you're coming into the situation with balance. I feel like this is really going to hit for you. For those of you who's really kind of learned, you know, standing up for yourself, you probably do fairly easily. I'm going to say fairly easily. But at this point, you're just kind of like, I'm not just going to run into a battle just to battle. I'm going forward to something, but it has to be worth my moment. It has to be worth something. I have to be getting something positive out of it. Like, I'm not just going to start commotion just to start commotion. I'm not looking for chaos. I'm looking for improvement. I feel like there's a lot of you who've kind of learned to kind of, how do I put this? Because I have, my moon is Aries, and I've kind of learned this the hard way. It's kind of like having that ability to say your truth, but to like keep whoever you're saying it to engaged. Like being careful with your words, not in the point where you want to be like sugarcoating things ridiculously, not in that sense, but more like I need to keep this person engaged. I need them hearing me. I don't want to say a couple buzzwords and then turn them right off and they're not hearing the rest of the stuff I'm saying. They're just zoning in on these couple buzzwords. I need them to hear everything I'm saying. So you have a little bit of finesse with your words, kind of like there's no use in me talking if I'm not really being listened to. So you have a bit of finesse. There's a balance with this. You're paying very close attention. Like, I need the truth to come out. I need things to come forward. But I got to know how to say it to this person where they hear me. And they just don't hear a couple things and then they mentally check out and I'm just talking on, but they're not hearing it. They're not absorbing it. Now, I do feel like this is a conversation. That's the balance card, but I do feel like there's a conversation you're having with somebody. They are very stressed. I'm getting the 7 of Wands, where they're keeping it together. They seem to be success-oriented. Like they're gonna make it through this. It's gonna work out, but it's a lot of work, a lot of effort. It's not like the 10 of Wands. It's like, how do I put this? Like, this is one of those things where they know it has to be done. They know they can do it. And it's not like it's really heavy. It's just kind of like it's going to take a while. It's going to be one of those long trips. It's not really like a big burden. Like it's like hard to make it through the day. It's more like having the patience to get through it. It's more like that. And they're trying to do this. And I feel like you're trying to make your point. Like, all right, yeah, that's true. You got to keep going. You got to stay on the point. You're trying to make your point. I feel like you're seeing this, though. You're like, you know what? This is about the long haul. You're doing good today, but you got to do good tomorrow. You got to do good the day after that, for the next couple weeks, for the next couple years, maybe. And you're trying to keep them on board, and you're trying to keep them engaged and staying on point, and you're trying to help them. Now, there's a lot going on between you and this person. The 3 of Wands, the Emperor, and the 5 of Cups. It's not that they can't do it. It's like it's hard for them to like accept it in some way. Because it's the 7 of Wands. It's just like they can do this. It's going to take work, but the success is there. That's the thing, but that's the difference, at least the way I read them. The 7 and 10. The 10 it's a success, but through a lot of hard effort, and it's going to take a lot of dedication. This one is kind of like it can be done, and success is within their grasp. It's just kind of like they gotta put in the effort. It's not as intense as the 10, because I feel like there's a similarity there. It might be just how this reading is going, to be fair, and they're not really like they're focusing on the negative. This is another reason why you're kind of careful how you're talking to this person, because you're like, nope, we gotta stay engaged. I gotta keep them from falling back. I'm noticing this reading, my cat is like all over the place over here. So I'm wondering if there's some type of weird energy with this, and it's kind of attracting my cat, because it's kind of like a mischievous energy I'm also feeling here. Okay, so the Three of Wands, the Emperor, and the Five of Cups. The Three of Wands is like, this needs to keep going forward. It's almost like if you're going on a long trip, this is like one of the stops on the trip. You know what I mean? The trip has been going. This is one of the stops, one of the rest stops. And now it's time to keep going to the next rest stop. This person, it's just kind of like, I feel like they want to let go, but I feel like you're trying to keep them from letting go. You have to keep them engaged. They got the Hermit card. They have to really think about how far they've come. It's almost like they've come this far. Why give up everything they've put into the situation now? They need to keep going, and you're trying to keep them connected with it. They're having a weak moment. So they're trying to give you this heads up. This person's going to have a weak moment. Success is there, though. I just feel like they can do this, but for some reason they're just kind of letting go. They're having a weak moment. This doesn't have to be permanent. I don't know how this is going to... Let's keep going, because we have to see how this is going to turn out. And looking at the cards going forward, there's a face down card, another one coming. So I feel like they're going to have a weak moment. They're going to drop the ball, because they got the Strength upside down in the action line, and then they have change here. I feel like they're going to drop the ball. For all your effort trying to like help this person stay on point, and you did the best you could, I feel like they're still dropping the ball. Are you letting this... I don't feel like you're going to let that just happen, though. I feel like you're going to see them drop the ball, and you're going to be like, no, pick it up. I feel like that energy is like, no, go pick it up. Go pick up that ball. And I feel like that's how you're handling it. Like, no, go pick up that ball. And I feel like you're not letting it just be like that. I feel like the whole point of this reading, actually, I feel like we're already hitting it, is to know they're going to have this weak moment. Keep your eye open. And to do that, tell them, pick up that ball. And I feel like putting some pressure on them to pick up that ball is important. I feel like it's important, because they need to do that. They need to pick up the ball, and you have a way of doing it. I feel like you're going to get your point across. You have trust here. You have to trust your gut instinct is what I'm getting. If you're feeling... Because I feel like you're going to second guess yourself. Like, you don't want to be overly harsh, because you don't want to cause some type of negative outcome. They're like, trust your gut. Just go with your gut. Do what you feel like you got to do. Just like, I don't know how to say this. Unless you're a meditating person. Unless you're a person that's really conscious of energy, which that might be easier for somebody like that. It's just kind of like, I feel like maybe even just saying maybe a prayer in your head. Let me just say what's going to help the situation. Just trying to keep positive energy there. Just letting it happen. They're saying trust your gut. Do what you feel you need to. Because some of you are going to be kind of brutal. Verbally brutal, and I feel like it might be necessary. I'm not sure how far that's going to go, and it doesn't mean you have to be name calling. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying like you might be very harsh to like pick up the damn ball. Like, I feel like you might be very insistent. They're saying trust your gut instinct. Trust your gut instinct. Trust it, because you're gonna snap this person into focus for a moment, and they have to make up their mind. They have to decide if they're going to pick up this ball or not, pick up this ball again or not. I feel like you're pushing this person, but it's important. You can't make them really do anything, but you can snap them into focus to like really like, it's almost like you're highlighting, like you're letting the ball, like the ball's rolling down the hill. You can go grab it. You still have time. Go get it. If you wait too long, it's going to roll right down the hill into the water, and you're going to lose it, because it's going to go down the river and it's done. Go get it before it gets that far. It's kind of like it's just kind of sitting there. If a good wind comes up, it's going to knock it into the water, and you're done. It's gone. You're done. And I feel like you're saying, don't let that just happen. Go grab that ball while you still can, because you didn't lose anything yet. Go grab the ball and get your success. Make this work out. Make this work out. And I feel like you're telling this to somebody. It is up to them to do that. It is. And I'm seeing like self-love on their side. They really have to think about what they're doing. They really got to think about it. Are they going to let this move on? Are they going to, because they're not back at square one yet. They're not back at square one yet. Not yet. So you're waking them up. Like, listen, go get that ball. If you don't, it's gonna go down. It's gonna blow into the creek there or whatever, and it's gonna go downstream, and then it's just too late. You're done. That's it. You're gonna have to start back at square one. Do you really want to do that? It's kind of like you're pointing out, you've come so far. Don't do this now. Don't start over again from start. You want to start over at start again. Don't do that. This is hard for you. It's not, I don't know, how do I put that? You're afraid of the outcome. Like, you're afraid of what this person's going to choose. You want them to choose the better road. And honestly, if you thought you could do it and get away with it, you'd choose it for them. I feel like you'd choose it for them. It may be a little bit presumptuous, so take it with a grain of salt. I feel like if you could choose the better road for them, you would do that. Because you want the best for this person. You want them to pick up and keep going. This is hard for you. This is face down, like it's something you're keeping to yourself, but you're still pushing on this person because you don't know what else to do, and you just can't let them fail. Chariot is coming in. I do feel you're getting them to pick up that ball again. For the majority of you, I feel like you're successfully getting them to pick that ball up again. I feel like there will be some that fall through the cracks. It's just the reality of it. But for most of you, I feel like you'll get that person to pick up the ball. I mean, there's free will at play. You know what I mean? There's nothing here that's set in stone. There's free will at play. There just is. When you get this to happen, though, I feel like you're completely well aware that this person does not have the strongest grasp on the ball. You got them to pick up the ball again. They're continuing forward. You're kind of like, no, you got this. And they seem to understand that they do, but it's just kind of like the endurance. Something about the endurance, it seems to be hard for them. They got the Page of Swords, which is more of a passive card, more of a watching and waiting. It's a communicating card. It is a communicating card, but it's more communicating as like the absorption side, like the listening side of communication, if you know what I mean. So they're hearing you, they're absorbing what you're saying, and they're staying on point because I feel like you're keeping on this person. I really do. I actually feel like you don't want to do this, but I actually feel like you're going to have to keep on this person to keep this going. It's knowing how far to go. It's knowing how to keep them on their. It's knowing how to keep them going on their own, but without going too far. It's accepting you're part of the situation to help it keep going. This is not something you're really loving. This is the Four of Cups here, right there in the center. It's kind of like if you want this to succeed for them, you have to help them. And I feel like you just don't want them to fail. It's not something you really want to do. It's something you feel like you need to do. And the boundaries is like, I don't want to do this. I don't want this to be my life doing this, but it's trying to do just enough without. You don't want to live this person's life for them. I don't feel like that's your thing. I don't feel like you want to live their life for them, but you don't want them to fail either. I literally feel like you're their. It's kind of like you're the Earth Guardian for this person. You got protection, and you got the Page of Pentacles. I feel like it's kind of like, I don't feel like you have to live their life for them, but you have to keep in contact. You have to see what they're doing. You have to keep them on point. They're doing the majority of the work, but I feel like you're constantly having to touch base and keep them on point. I just feel weird about this because I feel like it takes a lot of effort, but you don't want this to fail. And I feel like this is going to work out because I feel like you're realizing they still have free will, but you just don't want them to fall, whatever that means. You don't want them to drop that ball. And it's almost like it's bittersweet in the sense of like they can't really attain full success without them owning it completely. So it's almost like you're holding their hand as long as you can, waiting for them to stand up and take the lead on their own, because they can't achieve full success until they stand up on their own and they drive themselves forward and they take the lead and do it themselves. But you're not willing to let them fall to the side, so I feel like you're holding their hand and keeping them going as long as you possibly can, waiting for them, hoping for them, wishing for them to do it themselves, realizing it until they do, they won't have complete success until they do. It's not, I don't feel like this is bad. Don't get me wrong, I really, really don't. I just feel like they're saying this is the part you're at with this person. Your efforts are rewarded. You're not responsible for the outcome here, although part of you may feel like you are. I just feel like you can't let this go. You just have to help this person, and you're waiting. I just don't. There's a passive energy here. I don't see them owning it, and until they actually own it, they can't achieve full success. They have to own it, and maybe that's the whole point of this. Like, you holding their hand, keeping them afloat is good, but you got to keep pushing them to own it. You got to keep trying to get them to own it. You have to teach them to own it and take complete control of it. The only way they're going to have true success is when they completely, honestly, totally own it themselves and drive it forward themselves. That's the only time they're going to have true success with this. And I feel like maybe that's the little quirk they're trying to give you with this reading, like to get this person to own it, to keep coaxing them to own it, to be the owner of the situation so they can achieve that full success at some point. Free will is at place here. I don't know. You have to kind of roll with it for now. All right, I think we're good. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.